In this review, I'm going to be discussing a brand new product from Spikes Tactical. It is their first red dot rifle sight. And I want to talk a little bit about how Spikes is marketing this product because it's a bit confusing, even though I've inquired about it. I first saw this red dot sight on their website. And within several days of seeing it on their website, they removed it. Upon further inquiry, they made a remark to me that it wasn't supposed to be on their website because it's an affiliate's product. The distributor I got this from also advertised this as a Spikes Tactical / Black Spider product. So as it stands, this red dot sight is being marketed underneath the name of a separate entity called Black Spider LLC, or Black Spider Optics. You'll notice by looking at the box here, you've got the Spikes Spider logo on the box, and someplace else, I'm not exactly sure where it is, but the Black Spider Optics lettering is the same as Spikes Tactical, their lettering that they use for the Spikes Tactical logo. Okay, so with that said, I know you're thinking, okay, well, where can I get one of these? Well, you're going to have to do some Google searches and see if you can find someone selling these. The main resellers that I work with are not selling these yet. They are quite new, and I'm guessing that this product is going to be marketed underneath Black Spider LLC. So I don't know what else to say about it at this point. I know the suggested retail on it is $179.99. I did some Google searches and I saw a few different companies out there that were selling them with prices all over the board, but nobody had any in stock and so on. So let me tell you a little bit about it. With some information I actually pulled off of Spikes Tactical, their website, before they took it down. They say that this is an affordable optic package with a rugged one-piece mount that gives you a lower 1/3 co-witness. This allows you to use your iron sights without obstructing the view of your reflex sight. The sight features a ambient light filter, lower 1/3 co-witness, nitrogen purged, rubber bikini cover, an Allen key, a AAA battery, 1x magnification. They list the weight at 6.6 ounces, although I weighed mine and it came out at 6.1 ounces. Center height is 1.5 inches. It has a 3 MOA red dot and has a 1-year replacement warranty. So this is the box that it ships in. There's the product number on this side of the box, M0129 red dot. That's about it. Nice looking box. Comes packaged nice. And let's see what's inside the box. A lens cleaning cloth. A good sized lens cleaning cloth, a Duracell AAA battery, and like mentioned, this red dot runs off of a single AAA battery. We've got the red dot and the mount. We have the Allen key, like mentioned, and some instructions. And that's it for the box. So let's get that out of the way. Allen key, sight, battery. Okay, so there's basically the red dot sight. And like I mentioned about the logo, you can see on this instructional sheet, you can see where it says Black Spider Optics. That's the exact same font that Spikes Tactical uses, and of course the Spider is the same Spider. I don't think there's any doubt that this is a Spikes Tactical product, and there is an affiliation there. What I'm at a loss of is why Spikes Tactical does not want to market this underneath their own name. I'll just read some information off this sheet here real quick, not everything. It says that there's an ambient light sensor, digitally controlled dot intensity. As you can probably see on the side right here, you've got push button controls for intensity for up and down, and you have a push button control for the power button. There are torque screws that holds the mount to the sight, and there's torque screws to mount the sight on your rifle. They are the same size. Supposedly the Torx wrench that is included works on all 4 of the bolts. I've already had this out of the package. I've already looked at this, and I will comment that the Torx wrench included with this particular sight is out of spec. It barely fits these bolts. It does not fully seat in these bolts. So when it comes to me taking some of these parts apart, I will not be using the Torx hex key that's included. To power this on, you push the power button once. It says the brightness of the dot is at first set in auto mode by the ambient light sensor at the top of the sight. And if the dot intensity needs to be adjusted manually, push one more time on the power button, switch to bypass the light sensor, and then adjust by pressing down on the dot intensity up or down. To turn off, you press and hold the power button for a few seconds and it will turn off. Let's see, some other information. The power objective lens, 1x20, length 2.86 inches, center height 38.5 millimeters. Again, they list a weight of 6.6 ounces. Dot size 3 MOA. Adjustment range, inches at 100 yards is plus minus 30. Click value 1 MOA. Parallax setting 50 yards. And that's more or less everything that's on here. Alright, so like I mentioned, I have already had this out of the package, and the bikini cover, I mean, it does fit. It's not a very good fit on here. I'm disappointed with this bikini cover. You know, it'll work, but it's not quite, and it's not impressive. So anyway, bikini cover is a bikini cover. Let's get this off. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, that looks like a Seekins mount. It's not. It's similar. I mean, that's the closest thing that I would describe it as is a Seekins copy, but it's definitely not a Seekins mount. There is no Seekins logo on it anywhere, but it is similar. And it does appear to have a 25 millimeter tube. The red dot emitter is, I believe, at roughly the 4 or 5 o'clock position. It's a fairly low profile emitter. It's not on the bottom, so it should not interfere with your backup iron sights for doing 1/3 co-witness. You've got the windage and elevation adjustments here underneath these caps. This is the battery compartment for the AAA battery. The caps they're not captured. but there is a rubber O-ring on the elevation and the windage adjustment caps, as well as the battery cap. So I don't see any problems with the caps. It would be nice if these caps were captured, and also you have the standard dials for adjusting your windage and your height. It would be nice if these caps were captured, as well as if they had an indent so you could use them as a tool. I say that about every site that doesn't kind of copy Aimpoint, so to speak, mainly because Aimpoint's got some really nice features on their T1 and their H1 sites. The power buttons, you get a click out of them. You don't really get a click out of the power button. And if you hold down the power button for 3 to 5 seconds, it'll shut off or turn on, or shut off. If you press it once, it will turn on. Let's see if we can capture the red dot. Right now, I believe the red dot is not in light sensing mode. Let's see if we can adjust the camera a little bit better for... Okay, yeah, I think you can see the red dot a little bit. According to the instructions, just trying to, since I haven't really played with it a whole lot. Okay, I'll bring this back into view here. The light sensor, by pressing the power button once, you turn off the light sensor. Pressing it again, you turn back on the light sensor. So the light sensor is going to increase the LED intensity based on your ambient light. And the light sensor is right there on the top, right here. Actually, I haven't tried this on a rifle or outside or anything. I did quickly unbox it to take a look at it, test it, and make sure that it works before I get it on camera. The mount, you can see there's 2 bolts and there's 2 clamping mechanisms. So you're going to get some good clamping force on your upper receiver with that. As for markings on the red dot, there's a serial number and that's it. There's no black spider, no Spikes Tactical, or anything else. And although it may not necessarily be visible, there is the front lens is angled, and there is an amber coating on it, which is pretty much typical for most red dots. So this is what I've seen so far. Now the mount on it, I'm going to take that off in a minute and we'll take a look at the mount. This red dot ships only with this mount right here. So if you were putting this on an AK, this mount would probably be too high for an AK. You'd have to get a different type of mount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and let's take a look at it and see if standard T1 mounts will fit on this red dot. Okay, the bottom of the Spikes Tactical red dot, basically this is the bottom. There's some sort of a large flat-headed screw on there, which probably has something to do with the nitrogen pressurization of the sight. You can also see that there's a notch right there for the riser. Right off the bat, as soon as I took this off, I noticed right away that this is not a T1 mount, and I'll show you why. Here is a T1 mount, and you can see that the notch is in a different location, which basically means if I was to take this Fortis T1 mount, the sight is not gonna bolt onto this. First off, because of that large flathead screw, there's notching right here for that large flathead screw, and this raised tab is in a different location than where the T1 tab is. So this is a bad design. So you are basically stuck using this mount. I've not seen any mounts like this. So if you wanted to go full co-witness, at this point in time you would be out of luck, since this is pretty much proprietary and made specifically for this site. Bad design all the way around. This mount and the mounting mechanism should be fully compatible with existing T1 mounts on the market, and it is not. So I'm quite disappointed with that. But on the other hand, if you like this mount and you're going to be happy with 1/3 co-witness on your AR, then this is a non-issue. Let's see, I've covered all of the specs on this. Now, since I covered everything with this particular site, and I've basically said everything I know about this site, let's talk about another site that I've already done a review on, and that is the Primary Arms MDAD site. To excuse me, I'm just going to get the primary arms out and set this down. Neither of these mounts are actually bolted to the red dots. So with the primary arms on the right and the spikes on the left, let's compare the two of them. The Spikes Tactical red dot has a suggested retail of $179.95. I don't know where the price is going to end up on the market as more resellers pick these up. Maybe between 130 and 160, I'd guess. The primary arms, the MDAD with the Fortis mount, when you go to Primary Arms website, you can buy this site by itself for roughly $99, and it comes with a low-profile Picatinny rail mount, something that you could use on an AK, for example. And that's removable, and you can replace it with either a full co-witness, or an absolute co-witness mount, which is what this one is, or a 1/3 co-witness mount. And you've got a lot of different choices. This one's a Fortis, you've got Seekins, and I mean there's a whole bunch of different choices. Anything that fits a T1 or an H1 red dot will fit on the primary arms. So there's the price. The primary arms, as it sits right here with this Fortis mount, weighs 5.3 ounces. So it's almost 1 ounce lighter. And it has the primary arms has a 2 MOA dot, and it uses a more industry type standard CR-2032 battery, which is rated at 1,000 hours at the medium setting. And it also comes with the flip caps, which is a gigantic improvement over the bikini covers. And you can also add a kill flash. So you can custom tailor your primary arms MDAD with a kill flash, the flip top covers, 1/3 co-witness mount, or absolute co-witness, and quick release mounts. I mean, you can go and custom tailor it to your liking. So now let's take a look at one other mount. Let's take a look at one other red dot and compare it to the spikes. That would be the Bushnell TRS-25. Now the Bushnell TRS-25 is probably the best budget red dot that I've had a chance to review. The TRS-25 retails somewhere right around the $80 range. So it's about half the price as the primary arms, roughly half the price of the spikes. It weighs about 5.4 ounces, so a little bit more than the primary arms, or 0.1 of an ounce more. Now, this Bushnell is sitting on a UTG mount that gives absolute co-witness, and that runs about $10 to $15 for that mount if you buy just the TRS-25 by itself. The negatives with the TRS-25 is that it does have an integrated Picatinny mount that is not removable, so that limits your selection of risers. You have to choose a riser that has a Picatinny rail built into it, like the UTG. It also has bikini cap covers, which, as many of you know, I don't particularly care for, but they do get the job done. This particular Bushnell TRS-25 is the new series TRS-25, and it has the emitter at the bottom here, and it is somewhat of a large emitter, and I ran into problems doing 1/3 co-witness with the TRS-25 with this emitter. The emitter is basically in the way. If you jump up to a mount like this and you do absolute co-witness, then it's a moot point. It's not a problem. But the older series TRS-25s had the emitter, roughly at the 4 or 5 o'clock position, and it wasn't a problem with 1/3 co-witness on those. But this new style, the new style has the white lettering on it, and the old style has the yellow lettering. So those are a couple of the issues with Bushnell. Again, if you want to hear more about that, you can take a look at my Bushnell TRS-25 review. So you're limited on the mount options. The emitter is definitely problematic if you're doing 1/3 co-witness, and of course bikini cap covers. Aside from that, it's really hard to. It's very difficult to find anything wrong with the Bushnell TRS-25. It is a phenomenal sight for in the $80 price range, if you can get past the little minor annoyances. So that's the TRS-25. Going back to the spikes, what does the spikes have that the primary arms does not? Well, with this particular primary arms, this MDAD, this MDAD has the dial adjustment on the side for the brightness. Primary arms has another red dot sight, one step above this one, that has digital controls like the spikes, uses the CR-2032 battery, and supposedly you can get 50,000 hours of runtime out of that. So, yes, the spikes here does have the digital controls over the manual dial controls of this particular sight, if you consider that a plus. But if you really like those dial controls, you can get the next model up, primary arms. I think it's an MDADS, if I remember the model numbers correctly, if you really want the push-button controls. It's really difficult for me to recommend the Spikes red dot over this primary arms. I'm the design that went into this. The only thing that's really different than other red dots is the light sensor that adjusts the intensity of the red dot dependent upon your conditions. That's a nice feature, and that's a feature that's not present in this primary arms red dot. I'm not sure if the more advanced primary arms red dot has that feature in it. I don't recall reading about it. So if you want a red dot that has a inexpensive red dot for your AR that has a light sensor built into it, then the Spikes Tactile might be the one for you. You would have to keep in mind that you're going to be running a heavier sight, primarily because it's using a AAA battery. You're going to be limited to your mount options. You're going to have to use the mount that comes with this, or you'd have to get a T1 mount and take your Dremel to it. It looks like you could probably take a T1 mount and maybe modify it. I didn't actually look to see if the mounting holes lined up. It does look like the mounting holes line up. So, for example, if you took this T1 mount and you did a little bit of dremeling here to match this cutout here, for that large screw on the bottom of the spikes, and you dremeled off that tab, you could probably modify a T1 mount. It looks like you could modify a T1 mount to work with the spikes, but it would require a bit of work on your part. It's very possible that down the road Spikes Tactical would be offering some more mount options for this red dot, but since it's so new, it's really hard to say at this point. I have mounted it to a rifle. This mount does appear to be fairly decent. It mounts it securely. The bolts hold the mount in place. It does do 1/3 co-witness as stated with this mount. The light sensor, I didn't use it outside, but the light sensor does work as advertised. I did try it inside with the lights on. It dims the red dot. When I turn the light off, it makes the red dot brighter, so it is doing what it's supposed to do. So I guess wrapping this up, will this Spikes Tactical replace the primary arms MDAD that I have here on my display table? As much as I'd love to say yes, unfortunately I can't. The Spikes Tactical red dot, or the Black Spider red dot, has got too many limitations that I don't particularly care for. Now that's just my opinion. I can't comment on its longevity or how well it works out in the field or anything else. Again, I like red dots with that are going to give me the same type of flexibility I would get with a T1 without the T1 price. And as it stands, the Primary Arms MDAD fills that role for me nicely. I don't have anything else at this point. The Spikes Tactical red dot, or the Black Spider red dot, has a 1-year warranty on it, and that's the same as the Primary Arms MDAD. So I'm going to go ahead and end this review of the Spikes Tactical Black Spider Red Dot sight. I'm excited that Spikes Tactical is getting into the red dot market. As for for this being a first gen Spikes Tactical Red Dot, I think they did a good job. I think my comments concerning the shortcomings of the sight are valid and are easily correctable in the next version. So hopefully Spikes Tactical takes the feedback as constructive feedback and integrates that into their next generation red dot sight.